Yeah. So well, I hate to say this, I didn't know that. So
What's that?
you had a show on Fox.
Oh yeah.
And you
I mean, ready for this? It was because I've been at my location 20 years.
Okay.
So it was quite a while ago. When I had restaurants too. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know any of that.
Listen, my restaurants were so cool.
Yeah.
I owned them for 10 years.
Okay.
It's called Decker's. If you look at the food we served then, nobody serves that food even now.
Really?
You know what I mean? And it was a classic. I never wanted to have a restaurant. Like, I could always give you something where I gave you food bigger than your head and you took half at home, you know, like feeding cows in a trough thing. It just wasn't my thing. I wanted to have food and wine and good service, and that's what we did. You know? I mean, I was a waiter. My brother was a waiter, and we were pretty good.
What was the name of the restaurant?
Decker's Veal and Vintage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That name sounds familiar.
Well, that's a long time ago. You know, that was 30 years ago.
So
90.
My dad had a restaurant here in the 70s. It was, it was the diner on West Genesee Street, Dealership Row. I think he changed it to Bobby T's, and he probably had that in 74, 75. And his name's Robert Tringale, and he's been in restaurants in the area all over the place.
How old is he?
Geez, Dad's 68.
Oh, see, I must have probably known him. You know,
Yeah.
when you're in the restaurant business,
Right.
you know everybody in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just do. So.
So my grandfather, Anthony Tringale, the same name, he, back in the day in like the 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe the 50s, if cigarette machines, pinball machines, jukeboxes, that was his business.
Oh, that's a good business.
Yeah, that was a good business. So
I worked at a restaurant in New York City one time. It was owned by the mafia. We had broken leg of lamb on the menu. Okay, that's a joke. You don't have to laugh, though. Broken leg of lamb.
that's pretty funny. So what were you serving at the restaurant?
Oh, man. We had veal prime rib. We had like an appetizer called Menage a Trois.
Veal prime rib?
Oh, yeah. Awesome. We had like Menage a Trois, which was these 3 little phyllo doughs with different flavored cheeses in them, and then served on a better, deep fried, then served on a better cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
We had artichoke and blue cheese soup. We had, anchovy and corn soup. We had fabulous stuff, and it was classic. Fabulous wines, good prices. You know what? But Syracuse is so brutal.
Yeah.
That's the mistake you make when you like. It's almost like what I do where I am.
Yeah.
Even though I've been there 20 years. You know, I don't sell what everybody else sells. You know?
Really?
Well, but you go out, get in my, we can talk on the air whenever you're ready or something.
Oh, we're talking. Yeah, we're.
Oh, we are. Okay.
Yeah. And so with the podcast, I think I don't typically edit them.
Yeah.
Unless afterwards you're like, hey, actually.
I don't care.
Yeah. So, and neither do I. So.
Yeah.
So we'll just talk.
But my store. Have you been in my store?
No, I've driven past it more times than I can count.
Have you ever seen any pictures of the inside of it?
I have, mainly because at Gerhar's we had a group text going about a month ago, and one of the guys I work with was saying, he lives out in Skinny Atlas.
Yeah.
And he was saying, hey, after work, I have to go someplace and find like these, and he rattled off some bottles of wine,
Right.
some names. I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. And he was like, where do you think I can go to get those? And everybody was like, Vinomania.
Yeah.
So
It is, but between the whole thing, when you walk in, the atmosphere is awesome. It looks like a museum or sort of freak show in there. I mean, the wall, just that alone, people come in just to look around, because it's 20 years of stuff I've collected that my wife won't let me put up on the walls at her home. But it's all interesting stuff that I like. You know what I mean? I mean, honestly, it's probably stuff like when I was a kid, like robots and spaceships and a bunch of cool posters like, Creature from the Black Lagoon, like in French and everything like that. But the wine and liquor selection is real funky, you know. I won't, there's no reason for me to go head to head. Let's say nothing wrong with like Behringer Chardonnay or Kendall Jackson Chardonnay. It's just in every store,
Right.
and they're buying 50 cases, and and it doesn't fit in my store. My store is small,
Okay.
so I don't want to fill it with what everybody else has.
Right.
I fill it with things. If you were to, and the great thing about me being there all these years in the business, when you tell me what you like, I know what to. If you said, I like Kendall Jackson Chardonnay, I know just what to show you. If you come in for a gift for somebody, this guy likes scotch, well, is he like fruity scotch or peated scotches? Is there one that he's had? Oh, yes, he's had this, Dewar's or whatever. Okay, I know what to show them.
Yeah.
And you end up, as far as like gifts go, or bringing a gift to somebody, you end up with something that's funky. I mean, who doesn't want that?
right. Yeah.
one Christmas I got from, I think, my mother and somebody else, the like talking bass on the wall. Like, I would have rather you went to someone's store and bought me a $30 bottle of wine than that. But the wines, and they change all the time. You know, restaurants, in my mind, like in the restaurant business, that you have the same menu, that gets boring.
Right.
The waiter, what should I order today? Why don't you have the steak with the baked potato and the tin foil? Okay, that's great. You know, my store changes, and it's all about great deals too. You know, there's a bunch of deals for product that is really fabulous that they give away. And when I buy it like that, I sell it like that. Well, I could always, let's say the wine was worth $80 online and all that. If I bought it right and I could sell it to you for $50 or $60, I will. And I'll let you know that, because I said, go Google it whenever you want. You know what happens? You get a deal, you come back for another great deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Everybody's warned, though, you know, when I know I got a case of something or 3 cases, I go, this is going to disappear fast. So if you want more, if you take it home and you like it, just call and leave a message, put 6 bottles in the back, whatever. I'll do that.
That's cool.
And it's great food and wine knowledge. Same with the booze, you know. You walk in and say, I'm having fish tonight or whatever. I'll suggest a Sancerre, which is a white Sauvignon Blanc from France. You know, just like you put lemon on fish, you have a highly acidic wine to go with it.
Yeah.
Same, you know, the classic steak, you know, do we want something that we're going to drink tonight and is ready to drink tonight? Or do we want something if something that needs to lay down and age, I'm not going to give you that for tonight's dinner.
Right.
Unless I may say, okay, decant it or trash can it, as they say, like splash it into a decanter so get some quick air. Yeah. Maybe using, you know, I'm full of a lot of great tips for people and knowledge to help them in an unintimidating way. You know, it isn't me with my, I tell somebody, I don't, you know, some customers have their pinky sticking out. My customers hang on to their glass so they can't afford to drop it. So, but they want value. Everybody does, you know. Yeah.
Do you think a lot of people, you know, with the exception of one bottle of wine that we've had on our dining room table, it is tipped at a slight angle, so, you know, the cork won't dry out. Good. But other than that, and that's not an expensive bottle of wine by any stretch of the imagination. Other than that, we typically buy wine and then drink it that night.
Yeah, it's like beer now. Yeah. You know what I mean? You bought a 6-pack of beer, you drank it, you bought another 6-pack. Right. And wine is like that too.
You get a lot, like, but then I do talk to some friends, granted, they're chefs, so, you know, they know a thing or two about wine. Actually, the one, Anthony D'Onofrio, who used to be at Modern Malt, who now is at Gearhars, I think he has his level 2 sommelier course. Anyways, I mean, he was telling me a story about how they have, you know, we went down and pulled this bottle out of our wine cabinet. It's like, you have a wine cabinet? Like,
you know, what I like to tell people, the rewards of a wine that you aged and is ready to drink when you drink it or can drink it, right, is a huge thing. And all you need to do is you can get into like a rotation. You can do it as simple as you want. If you figured out what your budget was for a year, let's just say we drank 5 bottles of wine a week, okay? We need 250 bottles of wine, right, for the year. Okay, you find things that you can get a good deal on, you know, you keep it within your budget. But on top of that, once a month you buy something that you're going to lay down, so to speak, or put somewhere in a cellar, you know, whatever you got, a wine cooler, whatever you got. You put a tag on it that says drink 2022 to 2025, so you know when you should be drinking it. And if you start that rotation once a month at the end of the year, you'll have 12 bottles in there, right? Yeah. If the next year you can afford to put 2 in, that's cool. But at some point, you can start taking out of there. Yeah. And, you know, you're adding to and taking out and still drinking your everyday drinkers. Yeah. But there's a special occasion. You're home by yourself. You want to drink a nice bottle. Yeah. Or you wait for your friends to come over. You have a nice bottle. That's nice, too.
I love my wife to death, and you'll absolutely hate this, but she loves, there's this $10 bottle of rosé. Yeah. I think it's called Natura. Yeah. It's organic, Gary. So it is organic. So, but she loves mixing it with seltzer water and ice cubes.
You know, there's a drink called, listen to this now. That's a great, listen, $10 rosés are fabulous. I have a lot of them. Right. And what the reality always becomes this, what you want to do with your wine or your food after you take it is your business. As a waiter, if you want to drink Dom Perignon champagne and pour Coke in it, I mean the soda, it would probably be, that's your business. You know, I would never look down on anyone. That's crazy, you know. Right. There's a product, though, that's cool. There's a grape called Torontes, which has a little spritz to it. It's called New Age. And it tells you on the back to make this drink called a tincho. Okay. And all you do is take a wine glass or a glass with ice, You pour the wine out and put a squeeze of lime in it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
9% alcohol. See, she's cutting it. She's making like a spritzer.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So.
And sometimes it's not seltzer water. It's just regular water. But, whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's like anything else. You know what? If you talk about booze to people, the overproof stuff or the cask strength, which are like 130 or right up there, some people can drink those, but normally, when they first make something that's cask strength, then they cut it down to where they want you to drink it at 92 or so.
Yeah.
But you would do the same thing yourself with a couple ice cubes or a splash of water to bring it where you want it to be.
Yeah.
And she's doing the same thing.
One of the distillers who did the hand sanitizer during quarantine, I forget who it was.
I think it was 1911. Those guys did some.
They did some.
A lot of them.
Old Home did some.
Yeah.
A few people did some. But one of them, it said that it was like 180 proof or whatever the hell it was. And it said, the instructions were put a dash on your hands and rub them together, or dilute half with water to drink.
Oh my God, they do. You know what's funny? The guys that make them with corn and stuff, they just smell like vodka.
Yeah.
But basically, they smell like Everclear or like the moonshine stuff. You know?
Yeah, for sure. So there's some of that out there as hand sanitizer that people were.
Wow.
The instructions.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I'm sure if you're desperate, you know.
So, I mean, what made you? You've had the shop now for 20 years, you said. So, what made you go from owning a restaurant to wanting to open up the wine shop?
You know, really, it was seriously. I shouldn't say this, but it was the employees.
Yeah.
Because they started. You know, as a person who's in the business all my life,
right.
And I'm going to tell you something. If everybody does what I'm going to talk about right now, I'm fine with that, or anyone who does it. But you know, it became a thing where people wouldn't. The shirts didn't fit them. It wasn't the 2-day unshaved thing. It was, you know, in my mind, I'm going, did you even take a shower today? What are we doing here? You're on the floor. You're working in front of people. I mean, my biggest thing was that I ironed my shirts and my vest, you know, and I looked sharp as a waiter. That's how I made money.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have been sloppy. I probably would have sat there and said, geez, I can't believe I don't make that. What a lousy tip. What another lousy tip.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Clean up your act, say the right thing, and be knowledgeable. I would always look at the product, you know, what am I selling? I mean, I go to places, I went to a place and I asked them what a thing was on the menu, you know. She didn't know. I'm going, well, you should find that out. I mean, because somebody else may ask the same question.
Yeah.
You know? Simple, but you just got to be sharp.
Where was your restaurant at?
It was on Hawley and Krause, was called Decker's Veal and Vintage.
Yeah.
Again, we did wine dinners. We did the cigar dinner of the year.
Oh, that's cool.
They were all debauchery. They were a riot. I mean, it was unbelievably fun.
Yeah.
And you know, you'd run through like 5 courses, 5 wines. We'd probably have like, you know, cognac or something at the end. They were great.
Who does that around here anymore?
They would do wine dinners, but they wouldn't do not the combo cigar things.
Yeah.
Rocky's News, Mike over there. Did you ever talk with Mike?
Yeah.
He's fabulous. But he does a lot of cigar events, and sometimes there's food involved with it.
Yeah.
It's just important that you know what you're doing. You know what's important? The combinations of wine with food that you're not serving. You know, look at our first wine is Sauvignon Blanc, and we're serving it with a hot pepper salad.
Right.
You know, you're burning somebody's palate out.
Yeah.
How's that wine? Good. It's cooling. I'll take some water or anything right now. You know, you want to have some balance, and there's so many magazines out there to look at, like food related, that you ought to be able to just take stuff out of there. It should be easy.
Yeah.
Make it up on your own, but there's so many, it's too easy.
What's a restaurant in town that you think has an exceptional wine menu or wine program?
I love a Pizza Regional, Paulie down there.
Yeah.
And across the board, he has everything great.
Yeah.
Great food, great wine, great booze, great bartenders, great wait staff. You know what I mean? That's everything. You have to have that. Yeah. Other than that, honestly, Riley's has a great wine list with really ridiculous prices. Terry does a great job.
Yeah.
But, you know, and there's stuff in there I look at it, I go, geez, I'd buy this and bring it to my store and sell it for $40 and make some money on it, you know. But that's a great thing.
Yeah.
He also has the thing over there we can bring wine in, and he'll he might charge you $5 corkage fee.
Yeah.
Some of these places, I understand not wanting to bring product in, you know, because you're trying to make money. But you know what? You can't swear on the air, right?
No, you can.
Oh, well, if you got a shitty wine list, you know what I mean? You ought to let people bring something in.
Yeah.
If they want to drink something good. Not only that, you can promote, like you could say you can't do it on Fridays and Saturdays. But the other days of the week, you got empty seats. You got to fill them.
Yeah, for sure.
And if someone wants to bring a bottle in, not a bottle off your list, that's rude, you know. And they're not going to, they can't bring a steak and have you cook it for them. That's rude, you know. But to let them just because the other thing that always drives me crazy about Syracuse sort of is just because you guys aren't knowledgeable doesn't mean the people coming into your store or into your restaurant aren't.
Yeah.
They are looking for, they travel to places. They used to go to, New York City, France, you name it, and they got to come back and go, what the heck? Because you don't know what Barolo is. You're not going to put one on your list at an Italian restaurant. I mean, there's a restaurant that's very popular, does a ton of business. Nothing wrong with that. But 8 out of the 10 glasses are California on the list at an Italian restaurant. It just, in my mind, there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, there is. Especially there's some places that I've been to, and a lot of listen, when I say I know nothing, I know nothing. The only thing I know are the things that I've Googled. When I proposed to my wife, I knew that I wanted something really like champagne, a really nice champagne.
Yeah.
And so I, not knowing anything, I just know Cristal, right? I'm 34, going to be 34 next week. So, Cristal was huge in MTV and the music when I was in high school, right? So it was, all right, we're going to.
Fabulous bottle.
Yeah. And so I bought a bottle of the 2005 Cristal. Yeah. And from what the internet said, that was a really great year. And I could only find 2 bottles in Syracuse, and so I bought one of them.
Yeah.
And that was the fastest bottle of anything that we've ever drank before.
Because it's fabulous.
It was absolutely amazing.
Real champagne has what's called the bead, which is the bubble that comes from the bottom of the glass. And you'll find in the great champagnes, it's a smaller bead or smaller bubble. When you get into, so to speak, a cheap product like a Corbel, it has what they call toad's eyes. They're like big bubbles. So it's harder to drink it. You know what I mean? Another thing, I'm going to go back to my store because you come to my store for knowledge like that.
Yeah.
If you were to say to me that kind of question, what should I be drinking? I want Cristal. Hey, that's fine. It's the top of the line. Good for you. Let's get it or whatever.
Right.
But you need somebody. My store is like a great meat market. You go in there and say, what should I be buying today? And the guy says, I got great ribeye. You buy it and it's great. And you go back. Hey, if I need suggestions. My store is like that. No matter what the question is, what the style is, whatever you want, I'm going to fit it. If I can't, I honestly will send you somewhere else. Like if somebody comes in my store and looks for Jack Daniels, which I don't sell, I'll tell them where they can get it. You know what I mean? It doesn't hurt me. I'm not going to sit there and go, I don't know where it is. What do I care? You buy what you need, what you like.
Do you get that a lot? Do you get a lot of...
Yeah. A friend of mine who worked for me one time was in the carpet business. He goes, the liquor store business or your store is complete opposite. They would walk in there and he'd go, if I can help you find anything, we know what we're looking at. No, we're all set. In my store, they're like, I need something for this or something for that.
Yeah.
Bridal shower, and how much. The other thing too is because of my restaurant experience all my life, I got numbers for you. If you're having a wedding or a party or a shower, I know how much product you need. I know what you should serve. It's a simple thing. There's a mimosa, sparkling wine or champagne with orange juice. The Italians make a thing called the Bellini, which is peach nectar and prosecco. But you upgrade things for your party. Someone goes, "Ooh, that's good," and everybody likes that.
Yeah. The Bellini is my wife's favorite drink. Absolutely her favorite drink. Yeah. So, are you originally from Syracuse?
Yeah, I grew up in Liverpool.
Okay.
And have been here all my life.
Yeah. So what made what made you get into the restaurant industry?
I think it might have, at one point, in fact, there's 5 kids in the family, and everybody was in the restaurant business.
Oh, really?
No, I don't know. It's because we could eat. In all honesty, I was a busboy. I set up the breakfast buffet at the Holiday Inn. It was embarrassing how much food you could eat when you're 17 or 16, And it was great because, not that we were dirt poor, but we didn't have a buffet at our house. I can tell you that. And you know what it was? I just liked the interaction as a waiter. You know what it was? You met different parties every time, and you almost had to evaluate, who you could tell a dirty joke to and who not. I laughed one time. These 2 older ladies came in, and I'm expecting them to order 2 martinis or something, right? I go, ladies, can I get you a little cocktail before dinner or something? Yeah, we'll have 2 Budweisers. I go, that twisted me up. I go, wow, I didn't see that coming, But it's fun.
Yeah. What did your parents do? Were they in the restaurant?
No, they weren't. My mother actually at one point worked for some of the car dealerships as the receptionist.
Oh, okay.
I think we were all vaccinated with a phonograph needle because we all know how to talk. So that was part of it. And my father, he was a sergeant in the Salvation Army.
Oh,
no,
cool.
Actually, he wasn't. He was an insurance guy. I just thought I'd throw that out there for the vets. He was in insurance. But we all just gravitated towards it, and it was bizarre. At one point, myself and my 3 other brothers were all working at the same place, like the Sheridan.
Yeah.
And at that time, since we were in high school, listen, we all wore wigs because we had long hair. We would go down to like Day Brothers or whatever it was downtown, buy this cheap woman's wig. You'd push it around with your fingers. That looks good, and you'd wear it to work. It was so insane. I mean, we looked like I don't know what bunch of guys that must be on chemo or something with a cheap wig on. It was fun though.
Yeah. All right. So grow up in Liverpool, and one day you're working at restaurants, and then one day you open up your own.
Well, and I think what happened was at some point, probably in my 30s, we started we were very good as waiters and what we did, and we were efficient, and we were just smart. We did our job right. We prepped right. We didn't wait till I was working at my friend's restaurant, help him one day, and it's parents' weekend. Customer comes in, orders a bottle of wine. Look, they don't have it. I go back. They pick another one. They don't have it. I go, all right, what do we have? All right, we have this. I sell them this big bottle of Barolo. You guys got any big Riedel glassware? Yeah, we do downstairs. I get them. They're dirty. I'm going, you're not ready. You know what I mean? You don't have the wines you think you do. You don't have glassware cleaned. What are we doing?
Yeah.
You're on a second bottle by now,
Yeah, for sure.
So, but the restaurant business, I loved it. I think if I retired, I'd go back to waiting on tables somewhere.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I could. My parents were in the industry. My dad, because I was originally born and raised in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then we moved back here where Dad's from when I was 13. And when I was like 10 or 11, Dad had a diner. The family had a diner in Kentucky where we lived. I remember at that age, like being up there helping out, waiting some tables, washing a lot of dishes, yada, yada, yada. And they had the place for just over a year. But then when I was in high school, I graduated high school. I was moving away to Ohio, and I had that summer, and I went to apply for a job to make some money before I left. And I went to Denny's old Denny's on West Genesee Street, right? That's now the Burn Dairy. And I applied there to be a waiter, and they said, you look more like a cook. So there's a third shift position. So I was a third shift cook at Denny's on West Genesee Street instead of being a waiter. I don't know if I could be a waiter. I like talking to people.
Yeah, well, things have changed a little. I think there's a lot more, it used to be people would come in and they'd order off the menu and then they'd eat it.
Yeah.
Now, it's awful delicate out there. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. So I'll never forget this. Years ago, we're doing Parents' Weekend, which is a busy as heck weekend. And one of the waiters, I'm the manager, the waiter comes up and he goes, this lady gave him a card of what she couldn't have, like in her food and stuff.
Yeah.
He goes, what should I do? I said, well, feed her the regular food and kill her so no other restaurant has to put up with that. Which we didn't do, but.
Yeah, hopefully you didn't do.
It's got to be fun. You want to,
Yeah.
You got to want to, like, if you ever go to a place where the person at the door or the owner really doesn't care that you're there, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I can't give you my money. You don't even care I'm even here.
Yeah.
You're doing me a favor?
Yeah,
no.
for sure. Yeah. I agree. I can appreciate some of the conversation about trying to be inclusive with your menu.
Yeah.
Everybody nowadays opens up and, if they don't have some sort of a gluten-free bread, then they have, some sort of a vegan option. But I'll tell you what, I don't eat vegan food mostly, but when I go to Strong Hearts, I know that it's going to be the best vegan-friendly food that it probably exists in Syracuse. I think people should kind of stick to your menu should stick to what you're really great at, and that's it.
Yeah.
I always go back to the story of this band who they had their album out, won all these awards, best-selling, yada, yada, yada. Their second album just releases. They're doing a small show in L.A., and on their set list for that night are all the new songs. And their manager comes backstage right before they go out and says, hey, all the record label executives are out in the crowd, and they want to hear the hits.
Sure.
And the band has this 15-minute, conversation. They're struggling. Do we play the hits because that's what they want to hear? Or do we want to play the new stuff because that's the artistic expression that we have for our music, right?
Yeah.
And they wound up playing the new stuff. And then the lead singer wrote a book about this, and it was basically, when you're creating something, you shouldn't be thinking about your audience. You should be thinking about yourself. You're creating something for yourself. It's like your inner struggle or whatever, your, your adventure into the world is what's producing this art. And I think food is the same way. I mean,
yeah. Sometimes you think about the fact that you might want to eat tomorrow. So
Right.
I'd be playing those old hits so fast your head would spin. Let's see. When I get enough money to do what I want to do, I'll do it. I'm not there yet, or I wasn't there, you know. But at my store, you know, honestly, you asked why I got out of the business. It was employees. I just didn't think that. You know what? It's a tough racket, anyways, the restaurant business. But you go in my store, it's just me there. That's it, you know. And guess what? I'm not worried about what you see or hear from me because it's going to be spot on and it's going to be nice and I'm interested. I'm not, you know.
Right.
It's what I love it, anyways. That helps out a lot.
Yeah.
I got to tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
I got a million of them, but as a waiter years ago, vegetarian really meant they were just, if you ordered vegetarian or they asked for that, the chef would take a tomato and cut it in half and put Parmesan cheese on it. He had maybe some pasta, like pasta primavera, fresh vegetable thing, right?
Yeah.
That's all they did. They didn't know.
Yeah.
So I worked at a restaurant that was funky called Nicky's of Mattydale, which is really a great restaurant with interesting food and wine. But they had a vegetarian burger for lunch every day. And you'd go in, you'd ask the chef, what is it today, or what is it? He didn't hardly know half the time this and that. So one time a customer lady said to me, what's in the vegetarian burger? I said, look, your guess is as good as mine. I go, I don't know. He doesn't know. Where are we going with this? Do me a favor, try something else.
Besides your own, what's your favorite restaurant, or maybe a few of your favorite restaurants in Syracuse of all time?
Oh, of all time?
Yeah.
Man, there were some great ones. I mean, you know what? I think this is so long ago, but there was the Caroma, which was an Italian restaurant on Lodi Street that was awesome.
Really?
There was one right across the street from him called the Villa, and it's so funny because they're both Italian restaurants. The Villa did more pizza and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it wasn't like competition. They were just, you know, they were friends in business.
Yeah.
You needed something, you borrowed something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, good, you're going to get submarine because you ran out of beef tonight. You know?
Right.
You know, they helped each other out.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not saying it's vicious now. In fact, I think it's.
Yeah.
I think right now they should be supporting each other as well as possible. You know.
Yeah. It depends on. I'm sure there's some, but I mean, I hear stories all the time of chefs in downtown helping each other out. You know.
Oh yeah. I agree with that. I would think if I thought of any given area, that's where I would think down an Armory, because it's like, you know, as they say, if you worked on, you're an Armory rat. That's what they call you. You know. But it should be like that. You know. Come on.
Right.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Wow. But and I hope that, you know, obviously you're going to see a change in the restaurant businesses. You just, you know, that square footage divided by 25% that you can see is murdering you.
Yeah.
And New York City, which is all done by the inch, you know, you got a table that are 2 inches apart.
Right.
They're dead.
Yeah, you can't even eat inside at a restaurant in New York City right now.
I don't even know. And I think also with the liquor stores, I think you can only pick up, like you can order and pick up.
Wow.
Which is tough because you want to see. I mean, mine's easy. People come in and ask me, they could call me and say, I need 6 whites and 6 reds.
Right.
I need in this price range. And, you know, I can do it and they'll feel safe because they know whatever's coming out of my store is good.
Yeah, that's
or
good.
I wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
But other places, you know, you're going to have to say, they're good too, though. I'm sure down in the city, you know.
Yeah. It really is crazy. I'm surprised. I've been saying it from day one. I really thought the economy would have just absolutely tanked after like the unemployment ran out and things were opening back up. I'm like, people aren't going to have their jobs back. People aren't going to have money. Like, everything's going to go completely down in the shitter. And I mean, there's plenty of people that are struggling.
Yeah.
In our industry. I'm sure that there are. I talked to some of them that are, you know, they're not closing, but they're just barely getting by. But there's also a lot of people that are doing really, really well right now. I mean, people are still going out to eat, and they are being safe and, you know, wearing their masks and socially distancing. And then there's also places in Syracuse where they're not socially distancing at all, and nobody seems to give a shit.
That's pretty, I don't even know what to think. That's like crazy.
Yeah.
You're right. You know, there's this, I call some people the super COVIDs, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, I actually feel sorry for them because have really shoved themselves just into a closet and that's it.
Yeah.
They have wine, they have like food delivered to the house. That's okay. You know, you got to do something. I don't know about you, but I'm not waiting to live.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm lucky though. I've been open through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a normal day almost.
Yeah.
And the increase in business, the liquor stores have done. Some are up like almost 25%.
Wow.
It was like Christmas for a while there.
Yeah.
And I knew it. I remember when it was coming. I remember saying to people, "You better load up some booze in your house. You're crazy. What if they close the liquor stores?" Because I was like, I mean, I would have still probably opened for them. I know that.
Right.
But don't leave home without it. Really.
It is wild to think just a few months ago where we were. I mean, I was going into work one day and things were, I mean, actually, I recorded a podcast here in February with a guest, and it was supposed to be the St. Patrick's Day parade in Syracuse.
Oh yeah, right. That's the day.
And it was like the first day that they said 50% capacity inside.
Yeah.
You'd still eat inside, but it was 50% capacity. And I sat here with a guest, and on that podcast, we were joking, saying it'll be over in 2 weeks. Things will be back to normal. And then like 2 weeks later, I was driving into work. I get a text from Paul Valenti, who says, he said, be ready. I heard the governor's going to shut everything down today.
Did he get shut down for donuts? No, it's food. I think he's okay.
He was
okay to stay open.
Yeah, he actually did really well. I mean, somebody might listen to this and call me out for it. I'm pretty sure he was the first food truck, because he has his food truck.
Oh.
He was the first food truck to do the neighborhood events.
Yeah.
I think he was the first in Syracuse. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was one. I went out on the truck with him one day during everything and did like a little film on it. And it's insane, the business that guy fucking generates.
I'm getting ready to, I was considering doing at my store a state fair thing where I was going to get a fry later out front, do fried dough.
Yeah.
And I was going to make my own butter sculpture.
Nice.
Actually, I was going to make mine out of oleo. I wanted to save some money. I'm cheap. But, you know what? At my store, it's funny. For 20 years, that's the best part about it. It's real innovative, like what we do with wine tastings.
Right.
And, I serve out of glassware. I don't do that now. I have to use plastic. I don't have to, but it's smarter. I don't want to touch glassware and this and that. But it's all about, there was a point when I first opened up, honestly, the food at the wine tastings was incredible. There was like lobster chowder. There was like filet mignon. It was bizarre. And in my mind, I go, anywhere else in any other town, they would have been flocking to that. But Syracuse is so Syracuse.
What's the hardest part about that? Knowing that Syracuse is Syracuse and having the wine shop.
Syracuse, at least there's not like there's a ton of liquor stores around.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are starting to really carry some great products. But you still get that unique service. You know what I mean? And you know what? If you ever went to a place like a Steigerwald's, the meat market, you know what? They're insanely great over there. They're just like my stores. You walk in there, and when you leave, you're either laughing or you're laughing because I've told you a couple jokes and we had some fun, and you're satisfied.
Yeah.
That has to happen. The restaurants need that. Every single person out the door has got to be super satisfied.
Yeah.
And I know it's tough, and they are really pulling their teeth out, trying to make money, keep their head above water. It's what's funny though? It's the restaurant business. You're always trying to keep your head above water.
Right.
I know. I was in it. I owned them for 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't really know of many, and even the ones that I do know that are doing very well.
Yeah.
And have been doing very well before all of this, they're still always working.
Yeah.
I've never met a restaurant owner that is doing well. So I've met some who just don't care that they're doing bad, and they're not really thinking about much of anything. But most of the restaurant owners I know, even the successful ones, are always thinking about like what's next.
Yeah.
What do we have to do?
Well, you know what? If you're not moving, you're just turning stale there.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they say if you work hard for somebody like for 40 hours a week, you can open up your own business and work hard 60 hours a week.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's about right for the business. But you like it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like I said, that's why I would go back to it part-time, because I liked it. You know what I mean? It isn't even the money. I'm not worried. You know what I was never worried about? Drawing money out of people, because they did.
Yeah.
If you served them well, they tipped you well.
Right.
You didn't have your thumb in the soup. You know what I mean? Whoops. You just did the right thing.
There's definitely a few restaurants in town that when I go there, it feels, I don't want to say like something out of the past, but it just feels, you feel that hospitality.
Yeah.
And, I think of like, you're talking about like, really taking care of yourself, being presentable, being prepared as a waiter. And, Francesca's does a great job of that.
Right.
Their wait staff there they really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're like that. They're personable. They're presentable. They know everything that's going on. They're ready for you. And then there's restaurants like we went to Amano the other night for dinner. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And, they're on the card. I know Alex. And, we had the reservation, so we were going there. We brought friends. But talk about the hospitality. They sent out one of every single appetizer that was on the menu. And, I mean...
You?
Yeah, it was me, my wife, and we had 2 friends with us who had never been there before. And there was like new friends. It was the first time we were going out to dinner with them.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice to like go to this restaurant and have the chef send out one of every appetizer.
Well, they're polishing the right stone there. You know what I'm saying?
But it was a great experience.
Hey, listen, you know what? That's what you need. It's like when you go down to New York or whatever, and you come back and you're talking about going to Danny Meyer's restaurant or something like that, right? You know what happens? That's what they want. They want. It's because I'm talking to 30 people if they brought up the name of the restaurant and they're going there.
Yeah.
And these guys could see you once a year and they're smart like that. Look at this guy. You talk well of Amano. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
That's what he should want. You know? And they did the right thing. They took care of you a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I think chefs too, Alex is somebody who, he lived in Philadelphia for a while. He worked at restaurants there. Philly has a great restaurant scene. Alex knows what he's doing with food. That's really important. I mean, he really knows food and ingredients. And him and his girlfriend, I want to say it was like 9 months. They spent significant time traveling around Italy before. I don't think it was like planned, but before they wound up coming to Syracuse and having the restaurant, they traveled around Italy. And so he really fucking gets food,
Yeah.
I mean, the other night, one of the appetizers, it's burrata and it's tomatoes and basil picked from his garden.
No brainer, right?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just those 3 things with a little olive oil. Absolutely. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and it's timely. You're not serving that in January where the tomatoes are hard and it doesn't make sense. You're having it right now.
There's a restaurant that has since been closed in Armory for about a year, 2 years. And when I went there, every single time you would go there, the waiter would say, "Have you been here before?" Same waiter, by the way, like about 6 times throughout a year. They never recognized us.
Yeah, right. That's pretty weird.
But anyway, so every time we would go there, they would say, "Have you been here before?" And they'd say, "So," and I would say, "Yes." And they would say, "Okay, so you are aware that our menu changes with the seasons, and that's something you had 3 months ago won't be on the menu today." Yes, I'm aware of that. It was the exact same menu throughout the entire
yeah, there you go. You don't get anywhere lying to people like that. Or not lying, but you know what?
Right.
It's all, half that conversation was unnecessary. Look, how you doing? Nice to see you. Can I get you something?
Yeah.
Here's our menu, You don't, right. Here it is. Well, they do a thing, I forgot what the term is, where you'll do, it's sort of rotation. It's a different, but you have the same menu so they know what to order.
Yeah.
Every 5 weeks it changes back to that, so the
Right.
chef knows what he's got to get.
Yeah.
20 pounds of tenderloin, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. But
there is Alto Cinco, a place you would not expect. I mean, listen, I love Alto Cinco to death, but if I was going to go out and I was going to expect, like, okay, I'm going to go to a restaurant that's going to have, like, impeccable service, now I would say I would go there. But before, Alto may not be at the top of the list.
Oh, no, I think it's great. You know why? That's a place that changes all the time.
Yeah.
Great wine list, great bar with great cocktails.
For sure.
You know what? It's cool. It's priced right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I love them to death. My point is, I guess, that you would go to like a Francesca's or like a nicer sit-down restaurant and expect, okay, I'm going to go get wowed here.
Yeah.
But at Alto, my wife and I went for breakfast once. Mm-hmm. We ordered, we had our order. And a month and a half later, we went back for breakfast. Same waiter, exactly knew. He was like, "Do you guys want the same thing as last time?"
Haha.
It had only been in one time. I mean, the service was amazing.
Was it James? You remember the guy?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I described him, but forget it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was. I got to tell you, I'm just going to sneak in a funny story. I'm waiting on these 2 ladies one time, and they go, "Well, what comes with dinner?" And I said, "Oh, we serve a salad, a potato, and a vegetable." "Well, what if we didn't have the salad?" I said, "Oh, there'd be less food, ma'am." Don't try to chop the price. That's not going to happen here. Don't try that on me.
There was. I think it's Vito's now. It may have been Vito's before.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, on Bridge Street.
Right.
Right. And I went there years ago with an old girlfriend, and the dinner, it was like, $12.99, whatever it was, with your pasta, or it was like the chicken parm and a side of pasta, and then for like $13.99, it was that with a soup and a salad and a dessert. It was like, Jesus Christ, like that is, the big, huge portions, that are dirt cheap. I don't know if those days. I mean, look, Dominic's is now for sale, right? I think.
You know what? I don't know. You know what's funny? As you get older, you don't eat as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Like I can't eat a big. Like when you go to those Brazilian steakhouses, I could have murdered them when I was probably 18 to 25. Now I'm going, man. Yeah. I'm all done. That's enough. Yeah. 4 ounces of pork. I'm good. Thanks. But everybody wants. I don't know. They just want a good deal.
Yeah.
I mean, we want it to taste good. Yeah. You don't want to see a 2-ounce fillet as your entree.
Right.
I mean, a waiter came up to me the other day and he goes, "Excuse me, sir, how did you find your steak?" I said, "I merely looked under my baked potato and there it was." But there's some great restaurants out there now. They're really starting to.
Yeah, there really are. I mean, it's amazing the quality of food that's come, and I'm sure it existed before I was around. I know it existed.
In Syracuse?
Yeah.
No, it's changed a lot. I mean, I guess when I think of the restaurant scene in call it 1970 or so, right in there when I got out of high school. And I know that's 50 years, but it's changed dramatically for the good.
Yeah,
it became, it used to be like, oh my God, there's 3 restaurants or something to go to in town.
Yeah.
Now there's literally 30 or 40, and there's all sorts of styles. You never did that. You didn't have Ethiopian. You didn't have Thai around,
Right.
And it's great to have that around.
Yeah, for
Everybody
sure.
wants to change.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
The quality, I mean, St. Urban is phenomenal. Deefy is phenomenal. Amano is Eden. I mean, there's really some great restaurants in Syracuse now. Have you ever partnered with a restaurant in the 20 years you've had the wine shop?
Yeah, I've done wine dinners with them.
That's cool.
Because I'll speak between courses and things like that. I would, because I've done I gotta tell you the truth, I've probably done 100 wine dinners, or more. And I do these things. So that's good. It makes it fun. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
There was a lady we did one time where we served the first wine, and as I was pouring the second, people were commenting on the wine. So I got everybody's attention. I said, I just want everyone to know that a lady over here was commenting on the wine, and she smelled anise over the top of the wine. I said, I think she said anise. But you know what? You got to have some fun. We're drinking some wine, eating some food.
Yeah.
When people, it's funny when people, I don't bury people with things like the soil is 5% pH. That means nothing to me.
Yeah.
What's the wine taste like?
Right.
Is it good? Is it smooth? Is it tannic? Is it, simpler things you can figure out. And then again, I teach them about like tannins and stuff, how black coffee's tannic.
Right.
People put cream and sugar in to cover it. You want to do that. People do that with wine if that's the thing you're looking for. So they want to do that, But
yeah, we used to go to some of the wine tasting nights at Sugar & Co. when they were open.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Oh, Brett was there. He's great.
Yeah.
Though. Remember the guy that was pouring?
Yeah.
He's Brett. Yeah,
okay.
He's the salesman for me. But, he's great at that. And those are, why? Those are fun for most of it because he's there too.
Yeah.
Someone could just give you those wines and it wouldn't be as nice as him explaining a little bit about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, delicious desserts.
Yeah.
Great atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I loved having the little placemat set out, and you could read about it. But then having somebody like that come over and pour the wine and tell you about it, it really, for somebody who knows nothing about wine, it was a great experience.
And, and people want to know about wine, I think,
Yeah.
And, you don't need to be, wine snobbery doesn't get you anywhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
We were tasting, I used to, because I did wine dinners at my own restaurant, and we were talking, we were at the table, we were tasting some wine, and somebody was like, we were swirling the wine around, and the guy looks at it, he goes, this wine has great legs, how it goes down.
Yeah.
And I said, it's got a nice ass too. All right, come on, we're just drinking some wine here. Let's take it easy, everybody.
There's a restaurant we go to sometimes in Little Italy called, Jesus Christ, Lamella. Mm-hmm. And the tradition is if we go down to the city, typically we go to Lamella for dinner, and then we go across the street to Ferrara's for cappuccino and cannoli, right? So at Lamella, it's, they always, it's like, you're fucking old school Italian, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
We walk in there, and my wife and I went down there and had dinner this one night, and, we ordered like a bottle of, I think, like Chianti, right? It's like whatever, and he came over and poured the wine and like sat there, poured just a little bit of wine in my glass.
Waiting for you to taste it.
And I was like, I tasted it. I was like, yeah, sure. I don't know what the hell, what am I going to do? No, that's not, I have no idea what I'm going to be tasting or looking for. Or,
well, he just, no,
I know it's what you're supposed to do.
Well, no, but he wants you to know that it's acceptable.
Yeah.
When you teach people with wine, I say, if I have a platter of like a fish on a platter and I'm like 15 feet away from you and it looks beautiful with lemons on it and garnish and all that, right? But then if I bring it up to you and you smell it and the fish is bad, it smells like ammonia, no, I'm not putting it in my mouth. Right. Wine's the same thing. It could look real pretty, but then when you go to this, if it smells funky, what's known as, usually it's like corked, it'll smell like wet cardboard or like a cellar or musty attic. No, that's what he's waiting for, just for you to accept it. But you're right.
Right.
He should have just said, "Why don't you try it and tell me what you think?"
Yeah,
right. See, you don't sit and go, is this your first time out?
Right. I mean, as much as I don't know what I'm doing in those situations, I also love that experience because in that moment, I wished my hair was slicked back and I had a 3-piece suit on.
It's funny. There's a thing where people like there's a group of 10, and they give someone the wine list. Everyone's like, "Oh shit, I don't want to pick the wine." You know what I mean?
That's how I felt at St. Urban. We went for dinner in January, let's say. I forget when it was, before quarantine. We went for dinner, phenomenal experience. But as we were sitting there waiting for a table, we're going through the wine list, and I have no idea what the hell any of these wines are.
Right.
All I know is that
especially there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I know is that these are probably going to be some of the best wines in a restaurant in Syracuse. I know that they're expensive. And that's pretty much it. And so and I know that I don't want to choose the most expensive.
Right.
But I sure as hell don't want to choose.
Right?
Yeah, I don't want to choose the least expensive either.
There's a wine app that I'm involved with called Wine Ring.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you what's cool about it. You taste a wine and you pick one of 4 things: love it, like it, so-so, or don't like it.
Okay.
What that does for you is a lot of things. You're starting to tell the app through multiple bottles where you're at, right? So now let's just say, I always make it simple for people. Let's say you tasted 50 wines, 25 were white and 25 were red. You didn't like any of the white wines, all right?
Yeah.
You hated them. If you were in a store or a restaurant and you said, "Will I like this wine?" You took a picture of it and it's a white wine. You know what the app's going to say? No. You haven't liked any white wines. Now, it's a lot more intricate than that. They're slicing up a bottle by like 25 slices, acidity, sweetness, tannins, and all that. But if one of the wines you loved had the 25 things in it that you loved, or for the most part, if the wine you never tasted and you said, "Well, I like this wine," it's another red wine that you like, and it has 20 of the 25, it's going to say yes, you will, because the odds are it's almost like the same bottle that you liked already.
Yeah,
that's great. People need that because it's just, they walk into a store. Like in my store, it's so easy because as soon as you come in the door, I say it. If you need any help finding anything whatsoever, what they taste like, just ask me. But on your own, like you said down there, wouldn't it be, what also is cool about my story, I'll teach you about different grapes. Like if you like Pinot Grigio, which is white wine, right?
Yeah.
Italian, basically. You probably like almost all Italian whites as long as they're dry, like Vermentino, Falangina. And so I can bend you to try those, and you're going to go, "That's good." So now you're down in New York and you say they got Falangina in the white wines by the glass. I know what that is. And then you pronounce it and the guy goes, "That's not how you say it." Oh, shit. Made a fool of myself again, right? It's amazing how still there isn't a ton, like you say, a ton of knowledge.
Yeah.
I would think more people would catch it. No, not catch on.
Yeah.
Find out. They want to know.
Right.
But I mean, I used to teach wine courses, and mine were non-intimidating, and we didn't have to go into, some things made sense with the soil, like where there's an area in France called Graves, where it's like a bunch of rocks, and the mineral comes through the wine. The rain comes down through the rocks, goes up the thing to the grape, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Simple things like that you need to know or want to know, but you don't need to know, like I said, the pH. That's not going to do you any good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would love to have... I have an appreciation for wine, but zero knowledge of it. And I think it would be interesting to get more into it for sure.
If you stop in my store on any given day, there's stuff open, you taste it, you start to catch on. And, and like as we talk about a wine you're buying, a red or something, you're going to get it when you get home. I'm going to talk to you about it. Then you're going to go home and go, yeah, I get this,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Plus, reading the back label is always a good idea. They won't put anything on there, "This wine stinks." But if they talk about cherry or blueberry or whatever, you'll pick that up. It helps your head.
Yeah.
Because you can't see it in the glass, the fruit.
Yeah.
You smell it, and your head has to say, what is that fruit?
All right, so I've got a couple questions.
Sure.
One of them is, what do you think about blueberry and strawberry and all these other different fruit wines?
I think there's some that are really great.
Really?
There's stuff, there's a lot of, like out of New Jersey, they make a lot of dessert wines like that that are awesome.
Yeah.
You see, you know what's funny? I saw like a rosé with some orange in it, you know, and I mean oranges, right?
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was a great combination because the rosés they usually get like strawberry. They'll get red fruit.
Right.
They don't get citrus, and they'll get citrus, but they won't get like orange.
Yeah.
Nobody can, you know.
Right.
And so that infused in it is awesome.
Huh.
I mean, it's always about what you like.
Yeah, a rosé I can get, but like being from Kentucky, I can say this. When I see like a blueberry or strawberry wine, my first thought goes to look at that hillbilly trying to make wine.
Yeah. And you know what? I used to listen to me. I had a pineapple wine from Hawaii in my store. It was awesome.
Really?
I mean, you know what? Who doesn't like pineapple? Really?
We went to Hawaii in February, and I've found that I pretty much live for rum and pineapple juice.
Oh yeah. Well, that's that tricky thing too. I always say this: those drinks like the Mai Tais.
Yeah.
It's like 4 shots of like rum in there, and you know you're fooled by all that.
Yeah.
Pineapple fruit.
Right. Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're the dancing on the stage.
Yeah. I pretty much lived off of poi and Mai Tais when I was in Hawaii.
Nice.
Yeah, it was amazing.
But fruit wines are great. I have no problem with them. You know what? I sell a hot pepper wine at my store, and if you look on the back, they have a sweet to dry to sweet gauge that some do.
Yeah.
This one's way over to the far end of sweet, right? And when you taste it, you go, oh my gosh, this is really too sweet. Then you go, damn, that's hot, because it's got the hot pepper in it.
Yeah.
And with Mexican food, it's awesome.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right, so next question is, if I buy a bottle of Kindle Jacks, whatever the hell it is, right?
Yeah.
If I buy a bottle of wine in that caliber, will it do anything if I let that sit in my cellar and age for 5 years?
Oh, you're talking about like a $12 or $10 bottle of wine,
Yeah.
right? No, here's the thing. What's going to happen? Your wine has a lifespan, red, white, or whatever. And a thing like Kendall Jackson is ready to go. It's restaurant ready, as we say. In other words, ready to drink right off the get-go. From there, as through age, it's going to lose acidity. Now, it has some backbone to it, some butteriness from the wood, you know, vanilla and butter. So what's going to happen is the acidity is going to go away, and all you're going to have is the flabby part of the wine left. So it becomes fat, and you're just like going, boy, this was a lot better when we first drank it, wasn't it? Now, certain wines, you know, you think of them like a flower, like a red wine that is ageable.
Yeah.
It's closed in the beginning. In other words, you could open that wine up today, we just bought it, and smell it, and you're going, there's like no fruit over the nose.
Yeah.
The taste is not really fabulous because it's like a flower. It's not pretty yet.
Right.
Once it hits its peak through age, now it's a beautiful flower, right? And then it starts to go and it starts to wilt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, stuff starts going away. It becomes just reverts back to like almost like grape skin, like tannic. So it's just plain dry. The fruit left, and you're like, shit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you have a favorite restaurant in Syracuse?
I know I said a Pisa, but I want to think of somebody else too that I think is awesome. I do love Daniela's Steakhouse.
Okay. Yeah.
It's cool because it's real small.
Yeah.
And they serve. You know what's great? It's not. I was gonna say it's expensive. It's not. You might pay $34 for a big steak.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's a big steak.
Yeah.
And you can't eat it all. And they have nice wine. They got, you know what? They got great service there. The bartender Brian over there is fabulous.
Yeah. I haven't been there in years.
You know what? They make a good drink.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to tell them how to make a martini. You know what I mean?
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So where can people find you in the restaurant? Where can people find your restaurant?
It's close.
20
It's more
years
like
ago.
a bar.
Yeah.
It's 314 Pearl Street. I always tell people if they know where Columbus Bakery is, we're both on Pearl Street. We're both on the same side. They're at one end. I'm at the other end.
Yeah.
And I'm just before the entrance to Route 81
Yep.
over there. But you know what? It's a fun store. Come in, whatever. You know.
Yeah. Awesome.
And you know what?
Yeah.
If they mention that they heard this, I'll give them 20% off. How's that?
Oh, there we go.
Whatever. Give them a deal. you
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
All right.
Well, Gary, thanks so much.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thank you.
Yeah.